Okay, y'all, I am live. Just my chair. This is um hmm, this is going to be a very, very, very eye-opening live stream. For a lack of better words, big events happening today, so I'm gonna get right into it. You can come in and you can say hello. I would love for you to say hello and to let me know where you are tuning in from, what city, what state, what country, right? Um, yeah. I'm looking at some of my comments from my earlier live stream today on my YouTube about the food shortage, the empty shelves, et cetera, et cetera. And just seeing some comments. People are saying Cortez Miller said people better wake up to what's going on around them, right? That is so, so true. So let's get into this live stream. I hope you are definitely enjoying your MLK Day. That is so, so true. Okay, I have to switch my screen. I'm definitely enjoying your Martin Luther King Day today. Many people had a day off of labor from work. Many people did not, but in essence, I hope that this video finds you in health and definitely in wealth as well. So let's do this for me. Hit that like and share button. Let's invite more people into the room. Let's notify them that I am live streaming. Hello, Monica. Hello to you. So glad you are tuning in on Facebook. And please share this on Facebook. I'm just desperately I'm trying to get my Facebook views up. So definitely sharing this on Facebook helps out as well. Again, I won't be giving a lot of shout outs. I want to get right into the live stream, but definitely come in, say hello, or do both, or just drop your city and state. Let me know where you are tuning in from, and let's get right into the topic. Hello, Lee Brown. How are you? Thank you for coming in and saying hello as well. Thank you so much for being a consistent viewer on my channel and always coming in and saying hello. Again, you all, I have 5 thumbs up on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Let's invite some more people into this live stream, right? A lot of interesting things transpired today. A lot of interesting things. Watching for Arkansas. Thank you so much, Lisa. What a beautiful avatar picture. Patrice, hello, Patrice again. Patrice, we just did a private Zoom training. Is my official business partner in the home-based business. And Patrice, I can rest assured I was not planning on doing a live stream, but I saw some things that come up. One of the things was from my Facebook memory that I wanted to discuss that I shared this time last year, which covers the 1933 in 1933 um, that the United States went bankrupt. I don't think people know that, and people don't know the ill effects of that, right? Of the bankruptcy of 1933 of the United States of America. I want to cover that, right? And then as I was logging on, I also saw that Janet Yellen said that the United States economy is unfair to Black Americans, right? She made that statement today on Martin Luther King Day. We're going to cover that. And then I also saw that the another vaccine mandate for truckers, right, has is being enforced or put into enforcement, and what this means for already scarce grocery items that we see. You see your local grocery stores, and people. I'm going to be honest with you. After I read these things, I've been saying that the economy will look like the 1933 Great Depression. But after I read these particular things, it really dawned on me. I don't even know what the 1933 Great Depression looked like. And this is really becoming real, right? that this is really becoming reality, that people don't know the uh, where, how devastating this is going to be, right? King Samuel, thank you so much. Pretty lady, thank you. I just come from the gym and sweat my hair out. I thank you for that compliment, King. Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much, Sharika Slaughter on Facebook. So I want to get my Facebook audience built up. And for everyone that's tuning in on Facebook, will you like this video and share it to your personal page? So this is what I saw on Facebook, on my Facebook memory, that I want. I will start here first. What you don't know. Thank you, Sharika Slaughter just shared. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that this live stream on Facebook. And first of all, let me point out, I think I'm gonna get my nail designed like that again, right? I just, I know this is off topic, but I like my nail. I had that a gold with the white design tip. I'm gonna get that designed again. It brought back a good memory. Thank you, King Solomon says gratitude for your work. Thank you, King. I greatly appreciate it. And I know some of you all may not be able to see this print, but this is a book that I have, and I need to bring this book back off the shelves, right? I need to bring this book back off the shelf because the book, and let me see if I have it back here. I don't think it's in my stash behind me. I have a stash. I think it's in my other book room because I know many people are going to ask me what's the title of the book, and I cannot think of it right out, right off the top of my head right now. However, this book states that when you are born, you get a birth certificate, right? You are, please hit the thumbs up on this. We need as many people in to get this education that they can. What I'm about to reveal to you, right? So when you were born, you get a birth certificate that was created by Shepherd Townsend Act of 1922. If I have some people that hands are free, I want you to type that in the comments. I'm typing as I'm talking, but I want you to make a mind message connection. I'm already getting the text messages, um, and I'll tell you about the text messages at the end of this live stream. But this is called the Shepherd Townsend Act of 1922. Your birth certificate, our birth certificate, my birth certificate was created by this act, right? Shepherd Townsend Act of 1922. You need to Google that and do your research and do your due diligence. So the United States of America went bankrupt in 1933 from the Federal Reserve. See, what most people do not understand is they think that the government and the Federal Reserve are the same. They think that the government and the IRS are simultaneously, they are working together or they are the same entity. This is farthest from the truth. The United States owned the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is made up of and composed, thank you, of rich and wealthy families, primarily the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. That's the makeup of the Federal Reserve. One book that I have right within arm's reach is um, The Economy, and it doesn't like by Peter Skiff, how an economy grows and why it crashes. And it doesn't just tell you deep, specifically outright, but it gives you a great overview, right, of the Federal Reserve, of understanding money and inflation, understanding the barter system that was in place, and understanding the expansion of the money supply, and really telling you how this economy, how the cash dollar that you have in your purse or your pockets or your bank account is going to be bankrupt, and why we are. It's the time is now. This is why you see the changing of transition, and you see empty shelves at your grocery stores, and you see the lack, and you see things that's going on like we never experienced before. So this is a good book. It also talks about stimulus. You can see that I've taken notes as well. Trying blocking myself out, but it gives stimulus to the rescue and what stimulus does, and I also talk about the second after the Second World War, Asia had to choose between the United States and China. This is as early as the Second World War. This is why China is a financial powerhouse right now. This is why China is already distributing their digital currency, the digital yuan. And so it explained that our exports, right, and our importing system, and no more purchases from the Federal Reserve notes. So Federal Reserve, right, is not or it's not government. Let's get that straight. So in 1933, the United States, right, um, went bankrupt, and also Social Security and Medicare is bankrupt it as well, and this is going to affect our retiring baby boomers. But now we're in the Great Recession, right? We're in the Great Recession, and the United States right now, 50% of its debt is owed to foreign governments. Most notably is China and Japan. And so, with that being said, right, that now we have exporting, that nothing is being exported in the United States. And I know they are saying that China is shutting down the economy because they can't control the Rona, or however many different names they have for it. But people, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. This is about as nice as I can say it. So they was indebted to the Federal Reserve. In order to pay this debt, they had to use people as collateral. So this is where your birth certificate comes from. And if you can see my notes, I have on the side, this is why you must earn money as a corporation and not a person. So documentation that is needed for regular citizens, like your driver's license, your vehicle registration, personal property tax, marriage license, gun permits, work permits, traffic citations. It used to be only for a business, right? These are only documents that were needed for business use. But when the United States became bankrupt, indebted to the Federal Reserve, now we are also indebted to China and Japan, then the legal term for person became corporation. This is why all of your bills that you receive in the mail, right? Your name is in all caps, because you are not a person anymore. You are a corporation, and you are collateral to the United States. So a person you became, that's called a straw man. As you see in The Wizard of Oz, the straw man did not have a brain. He could not. Was it the straw man that didn't have a brain, or was it the Tin Man? I think it was the Tin Man. But you saw the straw man, right? What did the straw man lack in The Wizard of Oz? What did the straw man lack? You all help me out with that. And so when any government form is sent to you, that notice in your name, that's why I said it's in all caps, right? It is in all caps. So they are speaking to you and your no brain, thank you. Well, somebody says no brain, somebody says no heart. It's one of them. Let me see. Let me Google it to be accurate. And so this is why, right? Everything is in all caps because you are not a person anymore. You're not a person anymore, right? And so let's see what you all say. Um, you all want me to break down the Wizard of Oz? You all want me to stop right there? Let's break down the Wizard of Oz. The Scarecrow had no brain. Okay. The Tin Man, no heart. Thank you. That's right, G-Man. You all make sure you like, and share. Let's get some people in. Because we're about to go deep tonight. We're about to go deep in the paint. Right? And I love teaching. So I'm going to the Tin Man, no heart. Okay. Tin Man, no heart. Straw Man, no brain. That's great. That is great. And I'm saying it's great for my illustration. So you are persons or straw man. So when you go to court, for example, this is why I tell people that the easiest way to make money by converting your social security number into a corporation, which is also known as an EIN number, employee identification number, the cheapest and most inexpensive way is through a home-based business. The straw man process is a very tedious process, and it also positions you to relinquish some of your constitutional rights. Like if you go to the hospital and you are a national born citizen, which means you have given up your citizenship, then you cannot legally receive medical services. So a lot of people don't want to relinquish some of those rights, right? So when you go to court, if you've ever been to court, you will notice that there are seats for witnesses behind a wooden fence or barrier. I have been to court before for collections, for example. And you will see a wooden barrier, a wooden fence, and you will notice that there are seats behind this. And these seats are for witnesses to be or to sit at. So the defendant must cross the entrance of the fence or the barrier at this time so business can be conducted. This is called maritime law. Maritime law. Maritime. Maritime law. So the judge is acting as a captain or a banker to settle the dispute. And in either cases, it's always for some type of monetary gain, people. Right? Thank you, G-Man. Thank you so much. We got Curtis in. Curtis is going to help me preach. And so this is always for a monetary gain. The word bench that the judge sits at, bench, B-E-N-C-H, bench, is Latin for the word bank. So the judge is sitting on the bank. So people, you are a human resource for a vessel that's lost at sea through your birth certificate. You are no longer a person. You are no longer a person. See, the word birth is spelled B-I-R-T-H, but you also have birth, that's B-E-R-T-H, which means a fixed bed or bunk on a ship or other means of transport. And so once you became collateral for the debt that the United States that went bankrupt owed the Federal Reserve, then you became the cash cow. And then taxation came into 1933, whether it was you or your ancestors. And this is why in 1933, the government made it illegal for citizens to own the real money, which is gold. And so in 1933, they passed a legal law that any citizen that did not turn in their gold would either have 10 years in jail or a $10,000 fine or both. So most people have no knowledge, right, that this makes you slave to the system. But when you have the knowledge, you are not slave to the system. What makes you slave to the system? Right? I'm glad that you asked. It's when you pay the highest of taxes, right? Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to stay focused. I knew this topic was gonna I got someone in called the Negro Problem Solver. Blacks have their own government now. Let me take a sip of water. Can you tell me what that government is? Negro Problem Solver. I knew I was gonna have a diverse group in here, right? So I'm definitely gonna stay on topic. Or I'm gonna try. And I tell people all the time, when you live stream, right, you have comments. People watch my replay sometimes, and they want you to just stay with the script. But this is like when you're watching a television show and they tell you in advance this is a live studio recording, which means you can have outbursts from the people sitting in the studio. The host of the show can address somebody in the studio, right? Kind of like The Price is Right. When they aired The Price is Right, that was live. And so with that, and then a lot of these shows from the olden days when it was live, you can hear the laughter and everything from the audience. And so sometimes I address my audience, sometimes I don't, because that's one of the perks of tuning in to the live stream and being subscribed to the channel is that you can have the opportunity to get your voice or opinion heard and elaborated on, or maybe just overlooked if I'm not in agreement with it. And so now, what makes you a slave to the system when you pay the highest of taxes for every fiat currency system that you own? See, the government could not tax gold. They could not tax precious metals. So what they had to do was create their own currency, right? And then they had to collect the real money from the people to please the Federal Reserve. Because again, these rich and wealthy families loaned the United States money because the United States was broke. And when they loaned this money to the United States, they had to pay back, right? They had to pay back. And again, United States, I'm trying to fix my shirt, is indebtedness to other countries, to other foreign countries. And so for the United States to keep the world reserve status and to keep power and control, they had to find a way to plan to give the Federal Reserve these families back and to pay them back. So they then brought in a second slavery system than what they first brought in 1819 by bringing Africans and forcing them to work in free labor in America. So now that the free labor from Africans is technically over with, now they just going to restructure the system and give people what they think is jobs, but yet keeps them enslaved through taxes, through student loan, through mortgage debt, through vehicle debt. See, this is what happens. For every dollar that you keep in the bank, the banks are then now able to go back to the Federal Reserve and borrow 10 times the amount that your money that's deposited in the bank is kept in there. And so, for example, if you have $10,000 just sitting in the banks, you only going to draw interest for a year at your interest on $10,000 is going to be 10 cents. Now, it did not used to be there in the time of our uh, grandparents and great grandparents. They used to pay you more through money market accounts, through CDs for holding your money in account. But now the value of trash and its purchasing power has so depreciated that the banks don't want it. They don't need it. So this is how the banks make money. You have your direct deposit, or you keep a certain amount of balance in the bank. Most people, they never kept their own money in their possession. They always keep it in the bank. Always. They don't even have it under their mattress, nowhere in their home. Some people never hold large amounts of physical cash ever, right? And this allows the banks to lend out more money. So they go to the Federal Reserve and say, hey, we have this much money in our daily cash in our daily balance. Now we're able to lend out this much. And then what happens is, for a mortgage loan, for example, they may have 5 to 6% interest, depending on however your credit score is, right? And then for credit card debt, they may have 9 to 10% interest, depending on how well your credit is. And then for vehicles, right, you may have 7 to 12% interest, all depending on this FICO credit system that they created as another tool to keep people in debtness and keep them broke and keep them in a slave system. So now they have you keeping your money there. They're able to now issue out more loans, and then they have you hustling backwards, always working hard, because the money that you're making at your job cannot keep up with the inflation, the increased prices of goods and services. So you have no choice but to go to the banks to get loans, right? You have no choice because the money you're making is not enough. So between taxes and the interest you're paying back to the bank, you're always broke. You're always hustling backwards. Thank you all so much. Facebook, my Facebook people are coming in, right? Um, Thank you all so much. 'Cause I know you all are sharing this on Facebook, because Facebook people are coming in. So they changed the name from berth, BERTH, which means a ship's allocated place to dock, a means of transport, to birth, BIRTH, right? So birth is BERTH, um, because they were small and uncomfortable ships at the time, and nobody slept in them. Only the pilot could spend the night on board, right? A single bunk in a berth, right? And so this was a pilot berth. So they decided to just make people they're exporting and importing to produce and manufacture things in the United States to keep the Henry Fords happy, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the J.P. Morgan. Yes, with the Titanic, I had to think of that, right? And so now you are their vessels. You are their means of making and producing goods and services. And this, I broke this down today. Martin Luther King said that socialism is for the rich, but capitalism is for the poor. And most people don't know what capitalism is. See, capitalism is when you are business owners, right? Capitalism is when you sell the products, when you sell the services, when you are pushing the products, and then you have consumers. They're just people that consume, people that buy. They only buy. They only spend. They don't accumulate assets that make them money. They only do things and activities in which they spend money. I'm also going to break down the people that got wealthy in this pandemic, while 99% of incomes dropped. I'm going to show you the 10 wealthiest men in this pandemic, while 99% of consumers' income dropped. Right? I break down the consumer schedule that they have for people that don't understand financial education, financial literacy, and financial moves to make. Right? Every month they have a marketed activity in which consumers are programmed and accustomed to spending their money. Right? The Negro problem solver, you never answered my question. You said that blacks have their own government now, and I asked you what government is that, right? What government are you saying that blacks have? So Janet Yellen came out today through her Martin Luther King speech, and she said the United States economy is unfair to black Americans. Well, of course it is. You know, it is unfair, but guess what? Until black Americans learn to appreciate and take action on financial education and literacy, then it's going to be continues to be unfair. I am all for reparations. I am, but I know that there might be a largest percent of black Americans that take their money and buy more assets and buy more Louis Vuitton, buy the Lambo, buy the Ferrari, buy more YSL, buy all of these name brands and not buy any assets. So she had a conversation. Janet Yellen, the Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary for the United States, had a secretary with a conversation with Black Chambers Commerce. She said there is still more work the Treasury needs to do to narrow the racial wealth divide. And she said that Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that the U.S. economy has never worked fairly, again, for Black Americans, or really for any American of color. And if you don't consider yourself as a Black American, right? Because Blacks come in Indians, it's just not of American, right? And so until black people, black or brown people, get a financial education and begin to work and understand of working under the auspice of an EIN and not your social, you're always going to be hustling backwards. So, and referring to Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, Janet Yellen said Dr. King knew that economic injustice was bound up in a larger injustice, or it would come to a larger injustice of what he fought against, and that is so true. The injustice that he was fighting in the late 60s, it is a bigger bubble right now. It is a bigger injustice. It is worse than what he was referring to in that era and that time of the civil rights movement. And so now, actually, Martin Luther King would have been 93 today. Did you all know that? And he was assassinated in 1968. He would have been 93 years old. But Janet Yellen went on to say, it is obvious that America has defaulted on this promissory note as far as citizens of color are concerned. Right? She went on to elaborate that from Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, that America has defaulted on this promissory note as far as people of citizens are, as far as the citizens of color are concerned. So, again, back to Dr. Martin Luther King's address as civil rights leader, he used this metaphor of a bad check. And he said that we are coming or to our nation's capital. We're coming to Washington to get our check, to cash our check, right? He says American had given the Negro people a bad check, a check that came with insufficient funds. He said freedom and famine cannot coexist at the same time. And I agree with that. Would you all agree? Right? So he knew that there was economic injustice, right? And he said you cannot tell people to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. You can't tell a bootless people, a bootless people to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, because he said this economic system has failed to work for people of color. And you know what somewhat baffles me is when Kamala Harris was asked, right? When she was asked, um, man, I'm just, about reparations, did she feel like, that blacks deserve reparations? Kamala answered this way, that people that make under 100,000 a year, she believes that all should have reparations. But when specifically asked about blacks for the free labor that if was not performed, that they was gruelly mistreated and harshly punished, right? And I'm talking about harsh punishment and treatment, not just the whippings and the beatings. I'm talking about women being ostracized. When women would give birth, that they would put them to sleep in a coma-like status or state, and they would steal their organs. I mean, just brutal treatment. Children being fed to alligators, right? Been placed and tied up between two horses, and one horse was pointed in the direction of the east, and the other horse pointed in the direction of the west. And at the sound of the clap, the horses would rip that person's body. Literally, I'm talking about being burnt alive. I'm talking about inhumane, evil treatment. And then they would turn around and introduce a Bible to you. And I've always asked people this question, just a question. I'm not going to elaborate on it. But if religion was so powerful, do the slave master want you to have it? Have you ever asked yourself that? If religion in the Bible could really set you free, could be the answers for all your financial concerns, for all of your emotional turmoils in life, why would someone so cruel and evil say, here, I'm giving you this sacred knowledge. I want you to have it. I want to elaborate on that. I just want you to think. So this what happened. And now I'm going to wrap this up. You got the wealthiest people made during this pandemic, while 99% of income dropped. Socialism. See, rich and wealthy people, they love socialism and inflation. Why is that? Because now that groceries are higher, the products and services that they are producing is higher. Jeff Bezos is only getting richer. They're a part of socialism. They love inflation. It makes them richer. The CEOs of Home Depot and Lowe's and all this, we're going to break that down. It only makes them richer, while it makes the poor working class and the middle class poor, and the upper middle class poor. So speaking of inflation, now there's this new trucking vaccine mandate, and according to this article, is likely to make fruit and vegetables more expensive. And if you have not been at your local grocery stores, fruit and vegetables are scarce. They're scarce. So now this new trucking mandate, right, that's requiring truckers to get vaccinated. And truckers was already almost on the edge of going on a strike anyway, or wanted to strike because of conditions, harsh conditions. But that says that this mandate for truckers that haul goods and services from the United States to the Canadian border or the Canada border could cause price hikes. This is coming from the CEO of Canada Wide Fruits. The cost of transporting produce climbed 25% just last week, people. And why this is a big issue than the price of red meat increasing? Because fruits and vegetables have so many vitamins and nutrition in them. They have so much health benefits that red meat doesn't have anyway. So, if you have to stop buying meats, that would just put you in a better health status. But that's not true of fruits and vegetables. So, under this new mandate, the cost of transporting fruit from California and Arizona to Canada alone climbed just 25% last week without this mandate. And so now truck drivers um, who are able to cross the border between the United States and Canada, due to the vaccine mandate that cuts the U.S. driving capacity in half, now 50 to 60% of truck drivers have been fully jabbed or vaccinated, but that still leaves a large percentage of them that have not. People, this is the Great Recession or the Great Depression 2.0. If you never did anything, go to YouTube and put in a search engine 1933 Great Depression and just look at that. And you will get a glimpse of what we're about to experience globally. Globally, people never would have thought. And you know what? I know a lot of people are saying with Queen, um, it's just a scarcity of food supplies because of the winter conditions or the weather conditions. People, let me tell you this. If you don't pay attention of when these planes fly in the air, the residue that's left is they've gone on record in China that tells you they spray. Right? I don't know who these people are. I tell you, it's some people. Um, There's some people that hop on my live streams, boy. But if you don't think weather is manipulated, I want you to look at this. A Golden Girls forecast in honor of late Betty White's 100th birthday. The Golden Girls forecast, you got Rose, Sophia, Blanche, Dorothy, and then they have Miami here. They're showing the temperature. And so the Golden Girls, they're saying about this forecast and the seasonal affected in these places, near freezing temperatures, right? And so these are the towns across America in the name of these characters from the Golden Girls. And the Golden Girls show was based in Miami. People. 22 degrees, 36 degrees, and you got 50 and 53. The only good warm weather was in Miami at 69. As these winter storms rose is 22 degrees. And people, you need to know this stuff. You need to know what you're facing. Listen, if you don't know two things, you're not going to be successful in this game of life, in this earth realm. You're not going to be successful. You don't know these two things. Number one, to thy own self be true. To thy own self be true. You have to know yourself. What I mean by that, know the infinite spirit and the infinite God that works within you. Everything you need is internal, not external. Even Christ himself says, why are you looking at the skies or the sky or the clouds? The same way you saw me leave is the same way I will return to you. And then after the resurrection, he returned and showed himself to his disciples. That was the resurrection. And it says, greater is he that is within me than he that is in the world. You learn this from the Matrix. When Neo went to the Oracle and said, am I the one? Am I the one? Am I the one? And she says, no, you're not the one. She said, you're not the one just because you don't believe you are the one. If you don't believe you are the one, you will never be the one. You have to believe that the infinite spirit works and dwells within you, number one. And you have to recognize, according to Psalms 84:6, that you are God's and that you have infinite spirit, infinite power, and infinite wisdom working within you, right? Number two, you must know your enemy. See, they name that word in of me. The enemy is not in you. The enemy is external, but they teach you just the opposite. You know, they teach you to look for external sources to fight on your behalf. It is in you. You have to take action, right? You have to take action, people. You cannot sit back and say that anything in the supernatural is going to be discharged and fighting for you. People, I'm telling you, if that's your mindset, you are going to be in for a rude awakening. You have to tap into your inner spirit, inner voice, find you a mentor that can help you financially and spiritually during these times. And you have to convert your social security number to do business in the United States of America, under an EIN. So I'm going to show you this, and I have not forgotten about the Wizard of Oz. While people are waiting on stimulus checks, while people are waiting, right? Oh, I love this. It says by the numbers. I definitely need to watch this. You all know how I love numerology, right? And gematria, those of signs of the future events that will happen. But the wealth of why people are wanting high, and thank the people that sending me a text message about the business, I will definitely get back with you or respond to you. If not, when I end this live stream, but first thing in the morning. So you can put your social security number under an EIN. But you have the wealth of the 10 richest men double in this pandemic, and 99% of incomes drop. While people are begging for stimulus and $10,000 IRS. You got Elon Musk, right? The ultra elite. You got Jeff Bezos, Bernard Arnault, and family. It says and family. You got Bill Gates, who's always telling people or encouraging people to take the jab. You got Larry Ellison, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, now known as Meta, Steve Ballmer, and Warren Buffett. 99% of global incomes fell and was taken from the World Bank. But this small percentage of people transition from billionaires to trillionaires. And it also states, according to ABC News, that the calculations indicate that the wealth of the world's billionaires increased more since C19 than it has in 14 years. And I've been telling you all this is the biggest wealth transfer. I've been telling you all why people have been getting sick. Because a digital system is coming in. And as Trump said, the invisible enemy, and towers had to be placed to bring in this new digital monetary system. And so now, in 14 years, and as Dan Pena says, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids that you were doing the greatest wealth transfer that ever experienced? You're going to say it's the government fault? You're going to say it's inflation? Or you're going to take action? See that number of cash flow that you see on the screen? Right now, this home-based business gives people an opportunity to work from home during this pandemic, and they have a special of $129, and you still got people twiddling their fingers, not taking massive action. You can't invest in real estate right now. It's overpriced. People can barely make groceries. And guess what? The school system shut down. Now you have increased fruits and vegetables because of this new jab mandate. What you gonna do? Complain? You gonna sit at the barbershop and complain? Sit at the beautician and complain? Go to church and complain? Or you go to church and slob and cry and blow snot out your nose? I saw a pastor today that spit in his hand and laid hands on somebody. Are you gonna take real action steps to get you real results? I did a live stream a couple of days ago that God is proactive towards people that are taking action. See, begging and borrowing through prayer is low vibrational energy. When you can just ask the inner spirit within you, the infinite creator, to give you infinite wisdom and the courage to make the decision that you need to make, so you can position you and your family to be a part of this wealth transfer. So let me break down the Wizard of Oz, what the Wizard of Oz really symbolizes, what it really means, as I talked about the straw man who had no brain and how people are straw man through their birth certificates. You're called the straw man. The government, United States, went in debt to the Federal Reserve in 1933, and your birth certificate was created as collateral, as well as your Social Security cards. That's why on your Social Security cards, your birth certificate and Social Security card, your name is in all caps, because you are considered collateral, not a person or corporation, to the Federal Reserve. You are their slaves. That's why you are highly taxed. But also on the back of your Social Security card, the same serial number format that you see on cash money, on dollar bills, you see that same format in red on the back of your Social Security card. So Dorothy's silver shoes, they were silver, I think, in some later renditions of The Wizard of Oz, they changed them to ruby red. But Dorothy's shoes and its original versions was silver. That represents money. Silver and gold, silver, physical, silver and gold. In 2011, JP Morgan hoarded up to 350 million ounces of silver. That's 38% of the world's population. Because silver is going to be used for these RFID chips, for this digital money. It's going to be used for cell phone batteries, for to store your digital money and transactions in. It's going to be used for Tesla vehicles that Elon Musk has, for calculators, for catalytic converters, for 5G Wi-Fi. So Dorothy had on the silver, and it's also for industrial use as well. Emerald City and the Wizard of Oz. Emerald City is the representation of the money factory, right? The yellow brick road is the symbolism of the gold. As so much millions of dollars of gold and silver were buried underneath the rubble of the Twin Towers during 9/11. Real money. And then you got Kansas. Kansas represents farmland, land, commodities, assets, populism, Kansas. And you got the Tin Man, who represents industrialism or factory workers, people that works in a factory. As you all reminded me, the Tin Man did not have a heart. Straw Man didn't have a brain. And then the Wizard represents selfish political leaders. The wonderful Wizard of Oz. And people don't know. They don't know. And so people, I would even go as far as to say that I believe that the ruby red slippers that were changed from the silver slippers to ruby red probably is a symbolism, I believe, of the blood that was shed, or the killings of leaders and slaves and their blood to make America rich and to make the elites rich, the oppressed, a symbol of revolution. Mm. Through the blood of people who wanted economic empowerment. So I'm signing out, right? No, we have a lot of people in, but what people don't understand is when I give a live stream with this much information and detail, it takes a lot of energy out of me because it requires a lot of teaching. And then, even sometimes you get opposing forces to come in to throw me off track, to say things, to do things, but for most of all, to make, comments that makes no sense, as serious of a topic that this is. And then you have the Wicked Witch, who uses oppression and oppress the people of ours. And the Lion, who did not even have courage. Didn't even have courage to take action. Didn't even have courage to do anything different. The cowardly lion. But one thing I want you all to think about and ponder upon: Dorothy was a woman that brought all of these characters to freedom, or all of these people that are metaphors for what's going on in this real world. A woman led them. And when they pulled the curtains back, they saw that the wicked wizard was nothing but a small, right? Paula said, get the lights up. Was a small, insignificant being that was no threat. But the curtain had him shielded. And when the people learn their inner self, when the people learn the power of unity, the power of collaboration. See, I tell people all the time, I get these so-called smart people that come on my channel, And he's no longer in the room. I've asked him questions 2 times. Let me see. He's removed himself. That he stated that I don't even see his comments anymore. That black people, oh here he is, the Negro problem solver. Blacks have their own government now. I asked this person twice to elaborate on that. I have not gotten an answer. And see, this is the difference between me and other people, most people. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't. I understand the power of networking and masterminding with other people. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. See, school and that formal education teaches you that if you work solo, you can be an AB student, and in that world, you are deemed as smart and intellectual intelligent. But the school system is set up to make you good employees, not good entrepreneurs, where there's little creativity, little right-brained thinking, little stimulation, and no cooperative learning opportunities. And so people don't know the power of working systems and working with people through energy, frequency, and vibration to increase their cash flow status or their economic status. So I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Guess what? I want to be the most sought out person in the room. Not the smartest. I want to be the most significant and sought out person in the room. That when people enter the room, they say, hey, there's Crypto Queen. I need to connect with her to improve my life spiritually and financially. See, you can be the smartest person in the room, but if nobody knows your name, let's get back to the Golden Girls. Let's get back to the Golden Girls theme song. I talked about the weather and the Golden Girls. Oh, no. That's thank you for being a friend. I'm wrong. This is Cheers I'm talking about. Cheers theme song, not Golden Girls. That says, I want to go to a place where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. Right? That's where I want to go. Because I can be the smartest person in the room, but if nobody knows my name, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I want to be the most sought out and significant person. Philip Timms, thank you for the 1111 super chat. Your giving is blessed. It will return to you 1,000-fold according to Deuteronomy 1:11. It will return to you in 1,000 increase increments, and it is blessed by divine right. The infinite spirit, infinite power that works through infinite wisdom and love will bring that to you, maybe through expected and unexpected sources, with good to all that it is concerned. The Bible says when 2 or 3 touch and agree, it is done. So it is done. So people take action, take massive action, because we are headed into a massive, great depression. I'm out, you all. Thank you again, Philip. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you for sharing on Facebook. Thank you for YouTube. If I don't answer your text messages tonight, because it is late my time, give me until tomorrow. But people, whatever you do, earn money under EIN, get with a network of people. Your network depends, or it determines your net worth. Your network depends or determines your net worth. Get away from negative people and get around positive, like-minded people. Stop being around negativity, broke people that does nothing but complain. Surround yourself with action takers and people that will help you grow both mentally and monetary wise. You don't have to worship money, but you damn sure need it to survive in this earth realm. The Bible says money answers all things. That's not my words, it's the Bible's words. So people, take this serious. Take this serious and take massive action. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Be safe, be healthy, be blessed, do healthy things, right? Think on healthy things, read healthy things, and take massive action. Text that number if you want to know more about the 129 limited time um, opportunity to help you to increase your cash flow. Text 254-788-1144. Listen, Queen out. You all be safe, be blessed, and be healthy and be wealthy and be wise in your actions. Now is the time to take massive actions. Queen out.